All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Christine, coming to you live here from the Niagara Falls History Museum, and welcome to Not at the Museum Thursday nights. As usual, we would like to begin our program with a land acknowledgement. The Niagara Region of Ontario is located on the traditional shared territory of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Chinootan peoples. The Chinootan people have called these lands home for thousands of years, and more recently, the Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee have been sharing the land as one dish, one spoon treaty territory. Tonight, the museum brings you our second digital coming out story. This is our second year of running the Coming Out Story series, which are evenings designed for the LGBTQ+ and straight communities alike. Each night we welcome a different special guest to share their personal experiences coming out to their families and communities. I am thrilled that the museum has been seen as an ally and a safe place to help facilitate these much needed conversations in the Niagara region. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce the person responsible for this series, our host tonight, Falynn Shaw.
Hello, thank you, Christine. Hi, everybody. It is so great to have you all here. Tonight is going to be something very special. I would like to introduce someone who has become very close to me over the last year, Okie. She is in the middle with her drum, if you want to just, there you go. And then we have Sabrina on the left, and then we have Wanda on the right. These three are three members of the Strong Water Women's Drum Group. So without further ado, ladies, please.
Yeah, thank you.
That was amazing.
Oh, and that was the grandmother's song, and we wanted to dedicate it to the grandmothers because it worked for them fighting and being the ones before us, which is our ancestors now. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here.
Oh, I thought that was beautiful. So thank you for sharing that with all.
Thank you.
Okie, do you mind if I tell everybody a little bit about you?
As long as it's the truth.
All right, well, I won't quote anybody, but our guest this evening, who is not only just a guest, but became one of my friends over this past year, widely known as Okie, from Oklahoma. That's where that comes from. She's a public speaker on Indigenous topics where she utilizes her skills in humor, which is so true, and compassion to reach her audience. She is a proud two-spirit Choctaw woman, born and raised in the southern part of Oklahoma in a tiny little town. I don't know how to say it. I'm not sure. We'll just keep it Oklahoma. She encountered adversity from her Pentecostal preacher and peers for being two-spirit. She is well known in the LGBTQ+ community and has shared her story in multiple platforms across the Niagara region. She prides herself on individualism. I really respect that. And unity, and she is an inspiration to many, including myself. She's a pillar to this community, and I am so proud to be presenting her to you this evening. After she is finished, she will be joined by her drum sisters again, and they will play a song to play us out. So I would just like to introduce all of you to Okie.
Ow! Hi, everyone. Well, I guess I should start my coming out story. First of all, I wanted to thank everyone for the opportunity and the chance to get it out there. And thank everyone at the museum. Thank you, Falynn, and my drum sisters, my partner, Tracy. And I guess long time ago, when I was just a little girl, we played with the neighbors and we were playing house, and I got to be the boyfriend or the girlfriend or the boyfriend of the husband. And I'm like, well, okay. So that's the first time I kissed a girl and I liked it. And I had these butterflies, you know, but because my father was a non-denominational preacher, but my mother was a Pentecostal. She grew up in Pentecostal church and everything. And there's a lot of churches. And I was probably 5 or 6, maybe. And I had these feelings, and I thought it was supposed to be girl and boy, you know, boy and girl. And I was really confused, but I'm like, well, this is like Halloween and candy. It was like Christmas and presents, you know. And I kind of like, I didn't really have anyone to talk to. Like back then, well, yeah, okay, I'm old. But back then, Oklahoma's kind of backwards, and they're like 20 years behind all the other states. And I didn't have anyone to talk to. I loved my mother dearly. She was my best friend. But I just kept it all inside. And as I grew up, I started really liking, I had to hide it. You know, this is my boyfriend. And one of my first boyfriends was, he was gay. But I didn't know that at the time. And when I did find out, it was like years and years later, probably, I don't know. It was really intense. I'm like, of all the guys I could have picked, I picked the one that I could be myself with. And he didn't care about me. It was for show, you know. So it lasted for a while, and then I guess he decided to have a family because someone else became his wife, and she was not gay. And I really didn't understand. There's not a lot of talk about gay people. As I got older, they would use words that it was hurtful to me. And I didn't want to name any names, you know, to keep everybody safe. As I kept getting older, I still wanted to be with girls. and I didn't really meet anyone like me, you know, like this, we're talking a little bitty town. And so I believe I had my own car, and I think I was about 17, 18, and I was going to Durant one night. I don't know, see friends or something. And there was this girl that was hitchhiking, and I'd seen her in town. And she was really like, she's cute. And like, you know, she's walking all by herself, and I don't know where she's going, and she's hitchhiking. I don't even remember her name, but I pulled over and turned around and went back after her and said, do you need a ride? And she said, yes, darling, yes, yes. And so she got in the car, and she was just chitter chatty, and I got the music on. I'm like, yeah, yeah. And she says, do you like girls? And I went, oh, yeah. She said, do you like boys? And I went, hmm. And that was probably the second time I'd ever been kissed by a girl. And and I wouldn't name her anyway because she might be out there looking for me.
Find that kind of confirmed what you had already kind of knew?
Yeah, yeah. It grew stronger. And I realized I wanted to find other people like me. I needed to find out what is wrong with me, because that's how it was taught, that if you were gay or lesbian, something's wrong with you.
That's exactly how I grew up.
And way years before us, they were putting them in, you know, institutions and shocking them. They're going to shock the gay out of them. You know what? It's what you feel in here. It's not, it's something you don't wake up and go, I'm going to be gay today. Maybe some people do it, but I wasn't one of those. And I was really confused. It wasn't until I was probably, I would say probably in my middle 20s, well, about 21, when I actually, anyway, I gave that girl a ride, and as far as I know, I don't know what happened to her. Maybe it was an angel.
You never know. Kissing angel.
Anyway, then I did fall in love with a woman. She was much older than me, and I won't name no names, but it rocked on. She was married. I think I wound up getting married because I got pregnant, because I was confused. I'm telling you, I was confused.
I understand that.
And I wanted to die because I didn't understand, and I had no one to talk to. Like I said, my best friend was my mother, but she always had that, she was old-timey. She said, if my daughter ever gets pregnant, it'll just kill me. But I wasn't going to tell my mother I'm pregnant. And I went like 5 months before I told my mom. And I thought, if I do this, she's just going to die. I'm going to kill my mother. And I didn't want to tell her. And when she finally pulled it out of me, I told her, yeah, I'm pregnant. And so she didn't die. I married a man that I didn't love, and I have a son that's over 21. I ain't going to tell you how old he is, and you'll know how old I am. But he's over 21. And when I had fallen in love with this woman, I thought she loved me too. And that's the first time I got real heartbroken. And I thought I was going to die. I thought, I finally know who I am, where I came from, and why I'm here, because, you know, I'm different, and I'm in love with a woman. And it was just a fun and games, I guess, for her. And then I seen her, she dropped out of my life with no word of why, anything else. I didn't have any answers. And
no closure.
That's when I wanted to die. You know, my mother wasn't enough to hold on to. My son wasn't enough to hold on to. I was crippled inside. I was broken. And I felt very much alone. Still didn't have anyone to talk to. And then I was told to go to this mental health to talk, and I did, and they changed counselors on me, and the other counselor was mean, very mean, and said some mean things to me. And I said, I don't need this. I needed someone to help me. I needed to talk. You know, my trauma carried on through all of those years. And so I walked out there and I said, I will never be back in here again. And I haven't gone. I do remember going to church when I was younger, before I got married and had my son. And I was probably 12, 13. I was trying to live the godly life, the good life. And they were having a revival in the little town that I came from. And this preacher, this evangelist, he called me out in the whole church, and it was a packed church. And I was trembling. I stood up, and I had tears falling, and I looked at him and I said, "You were supposed to be a man of God, and you just broke me. You broke my heart, you broke my spirit, and I'll never come here again." And I went home, and it's the second time I wanted to die. And my mom pulled it out of me, and she was not happy. She was not happy at all. So it was looked down upon. It was, like I'd heard rumors from town that there's any gay people in this town, we're gonna rape them and pillage them and beat them to death and run them out of town. And I said, if I ever leave this town, it'll be because I want to, not because you made me.
People need to understand, like, what are we talking population? Like, how many people would have been in this town?
Maybe 600 people, counting dogs, cats, and canaries.
I think as most people know, just in Niagara Falls, it feels like a small town. Now, to take that down to 600 people, everybody knows everybody.
They say that Niagara Falls is a small town. No, I went through culture shock when I came to Canada. I've been in Canada for 21 years now, and this is home. I feel safe here.
You feel a big difference when you came here, as far as...
Yeah, well, I went through the culture shock because I'm from a little country town, Bible Belt, redneck, the whole 9 yards. They will kick your ass. You go on.
They will kick your patootie if they don't like what you're doing, and it's there isn't a lot of people passionate where you were from.
Pardon?
There are not a lot of people that were compassionate to the gay community.
No, it was a sickness. It was a disease. It was in their minds they were pedophiles, and that's so wrong.
It is.
We have been, put on that pedestal or that category too, and it's so wrong. So wrong.
Part of the reason we do what we're doing here at the museum is because
I know it makes me so happy. My heart.
There are some people, in Canada, that may have that same small mind mentality that they had in Oklahoma. So we need to just educate people. So keep telling us some more of your story. Thank you.
I believe Creator brought us. We are Creator's children, and Creator brought us on this Mother Earth, which is a living being, to love and take care of one another, to accept one another. If someone's without, you help them. You don't have to like them, but you're supposed to love them. And so, but the greed got in the way, and so even as a two-spirited person, we were outcasted amongst our own people when they brought over their religion. We were brainwashed our people were brainwashed into that we were just like diseased, and we did not need to be in that tribe anymore. That there's a God, and it's not acceptable in God's eyes. Yeah. And so my Creator is different than others' God. Yes. Because my Creator accepts me, accepts you, accepts her and her, accepts the poor little dogs and the big bears.
It's an unconditional thing.
Unconditional love, yes. So where was I? Back home
after you walked out of the church.
Heartbreak.
Yes, the heartbreak.
Yeah, I did go back in that church one other time after swearing I would never step foot in that church again. And that was to lay my mama to rest.
Well, that was an exception.
One and only time I was ever in there after that. So when I got my heart broke and I was trying to get my feet back under me and find some reason to live again, I had a couple of girlfriends, a few, one or two.
Yes.
I got to be careful, my partner's here. Anyway, and then out of the blue, I moved off and lived my life and was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It didn't work out. I came back and as I was healing from that, and but I wasn't like detrimental, wanting to die.
Yeah.
I was doing pretty good. I was staying with my mom and my son and getting my life together, got me a car, blah, blah, blah. And right before a Thanksgiving came, somebody knocked at the door, and of course I went to answer it and opened it up, and there was my first love. And I didn't know whether to hit her or, break down and cry and fall apart or hit her, you know. And I'm like so confused, nothing. And so it's like casual to her, hey, pick up where we left off. I don't think so. Like,
Yes, you were probably more emotionally invested than she had been at that time.
oh yeah, certainly, certainly. And that's when I said, there's really no thing as true love.
Yeah.
And you can love somebody, you can have a life with them, blah, blah. There's no real thing as true love. And then I told her, I said that it could never be anything like that again. Well, then one of my brothers passed away, and it was a big shock, and I fell apart again. I'm very emotional. I get mad, but I'm happy and sad, and she was there to pick up the pieces. So the first time it wasn't my fault. It was her fault. The second time was my fault. I should have known better.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out a second time. So, but the second time I wanted to die because I kept saying, you stupid, stupid, stupid. Like, what is here does not combine with what's in here.
Not always, no.
And if you can get it together, then you can get yourself together. But after doing some healing and stuff, I felt like I could handle life, and I had a computer. I went through a couple of other relationships. I kind of like long-term relationships.
Yeah.
They don't last either. So I know that Creator had plans for me all along. I didn't know the plans, but that's what brought me here. On Facebook, not Facebook, Yahoo. Way back Yahoo and ICQ.
Yahoo is my, I
ICQ.
Yahoo.
I'm giving out my age.
No, I used Yahoo too. It's okay.
Yeah.
Your age away.
So I met someone, and we talked for probably off and on the phone, wrote letters. She wrote more than I did. But she was married and had children. And I was a free bird. And I don't know, I was supposed to come to Canada to meet her, and I broke my foot and my ankle, and I'm like, I can't come. And so she came to Oklahoma, and yeah, she was like, wow, I really did get a hit, didn't I? I'm a fun hit. So I came back with her, and she got a divorce, and we got married, and
So that's how you came to Canada.
That's how I came to Canada. Yes.
Okay.
Any other way, I couldn't have found it. Is this Canada? Anyway, I rocked on, and we went up north to try and do the, solar panels, growing your own food, blah, blah, blah.
Off grid. Oh, okay.
Had we done that 10 years earlier, it might have worked, but, and she worked nights, and it was back in 2014. And we had decided this living way out in the country, no electricity, and the batteries and the solars wasn't working. And we were spending a lot of money on gas for the generator. And so we moved into town, and she worked for her boss. And we lived right upstairs, which she depended on her 24/7. She never really had days off.
Yeah.
I was afraid that was going to happen. But in June, I was watching her for several months. She was just going down. Yeah. And I'm like, look, you have to go to the doctor. Something is, oh, I'm fine. I said, sure you are. I can see it. I said, I can't stay here and watch you die in front of me. I can't. And So she went to the doctor, and about a week later, we got the diagnosis. And I think I took it worse than she did, that she had 4-stage cancer. And in September of 2014, because it goes over my mind.
Oh, I'm sure it brings you right back there.
All those months,
Take
I
your
gave the
time.
dog away. Well, I didn't really give him away. Some friends took him to help me because I was doing flights of stairs, which I shouldn't even been doing. And we had a Chihuahua and a little ferret named Zoe, and we had Sage the cat. And so I was like cutting part of my heart out too, but I could not take care of her 24/7 and them too.
And yourself.
I was fortunate that her sister came and helped, and her daughter, but it was really hard. I didn't eat, I didn't sleep, and I watched her die in front of me, and she
was blessed to have you by her side.
Well, some might not think so, but I went through that, and I think that was another time I didn't know what was going to happen to me and my little dog Hope, or Tanner, or Zoe, or I didn't know. Everything was just up in the air. I didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And so I wound up leaving there because I contemplated suicide.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I got to get back home. I got to get back in Niagara area so I can find my old friends, and I got to do some healing.
You need some support.
It ain't time to go yet, as much as I want to give up. But I almost did give up. And then I got to Fort Erie, and I have to give kudos to Fort Erie Native Friendship Center because they accepted me, knowing I was two-spirited and knowing that I was a mess. And between counseling, in between that, I lost 2 good counselors that I was, you know how you build up trust with someone to be able to go blah.
Yeah.
Of course, now I'm old enough that I just do that anyway.
To anybody.
But I heard that this drum circle was going on for the women that had children, that gave them an hour or two to just go.
Yeah.
I went to Sabrina and I'm like, Sabrina, I heard about this, and I know I don't have a little kid, but I need this. Please, can I join? Please. I'll just sit and drum and sing. And she said, sure. And that brought me back to life.
And Sabrina is one that is here tonight.
Yes, the drum mom. She's been really good at helping me anytime I needed. She's helped me move twice, and she's been awesome. And that brought me back to life, and I was doing really good. We were, before COVID and everything, we were going everywhere singing. We had to decline places to go and sing. And by the way, we don't call it performing, we call it presentations, because what we're giving is part of us to y'all. And,
yes.
And then down the road somewhere, I just thought I was just going to live the rest of my life on my own and do what Creator wanted me to, and that was to drum and sing and talk from my heart. And people just treat me like I'm anybody, like their best friend, even knowing I'm two-spirited. And you know what? That's really people that I meet. They're drawn to me.
Those are the only kind of people
I got a fan club, man.
You only want to meet the people that are okay with who you are.
Yeah. Well, if they're not okay with me, they need to get up and leave, because I'm not.
That's right.
You know, I'm making my stand. I'm not leaving.
That's right.
And then I I called up this girl and said, I need you to read my cards. And I'd met her before. And we talked. She came to drumming a few times, and, you know, we'd sit out and smoke a cigarette and talk. And she said, well, I'm two-spirited too, you know. And I'm like, too young for me. When I called her up, and that night it was funny because I really had this draw at her. I'm like, I really need her to read my cards. I said, I heard you read cards. How much do you charge? And would you come to my house and read them for me? And she said, sure. And she said, well, how am I going to charge you? I said, oh, yes. You can't read my cards unless you take my money. And she said, well, we'll see. I said, no. You have to take my money. You didn't want to take my money. Come to find out, the cards told me what I needed to know. But that night I was looking at her in a totally different light, and it's like, I think I'm smitten.
Oh, I love
So
this.
that's Tracy, and we've been together ever since. We have a mutual young man, 10 years old, Joel, he's the one that said, Mom, I think you and Okie should be together.
Oh.
Mom, I think Okie needs to move in. Boy, did I not realize what I was doing. He's a great kid. He can be a great kid. He can be a little butt too.
Oh, that's what kids do.
And he loves his Okie. And I took some time, about a year off, just to build my relationship with Tracy, and get to closer with Joel. And they've got two older cats, Kong and Juku. And I had a little white Chihuahua, Hope. And the reason I named her Hope, when I got her, she was just a little baby. Judy, my late wife, let me have her after years of begging for a little Chihuahua. And she said, okay, I think you're ready. I think you should have her. And, and I fell in love with her. And her name was Snowflake. And I'm like, she's no snowflake. Well, that night, I smudged and prayed. And I got her, and I said, Creator, you got to give me a name that is just going to be really special. And when I looked down at her, I heard Hope. And it means for healing of people everywhere. And she's still with me.
She is.
I had to say goodbye to her a couple of months ago. And it's got this big hole in my heart. But I know she's with me. Sometimes I'll be sitting and I feel this little dog, like I didn't like calling her dog. She was my fur baby. Crawl up here or I'll dream of her, and I miss her really, really bad.
I was lucky enough to meet Hope. She really
special. She was special. I took her to the drum group a few times too, but she's like having a child, like, sit down. No, get over there and sniff around. I was afraid she's gonna pee on the floor.
Do you mind if I share a little bit about how we came together? Because I really think that is an interesting story.
Go for it.
Okay, so when I was looking for a two-spirited individual, I was not looking for a man or a woman. I was looking for two-spirited. I could not find it. Finally, after reaching out to one, I did reach out to an Indigenous woman who said that she did not believe in two-spirit. So I said, well, then you're not who I'm gonna book. So I reached out to Sean Vanderklees and Carl Docksdaughter, who are with One Dish, One Mic on
Stater.
What's Doc Stater?
Yeah.
So these two guys, I said, would you guys mind putting something on your website? I would love a two-spirit individual. Well, doesn't somebody put Linda's name on there? And I thought, okay, I'm going to just message this woman. So I messaged her and I told her about the story, and she didn't get the message for a couple of weeks because it was hidden in her inbox. So when she finally did get it, and I was kind of on time restraints, I had to find somebody to book. And she told me that she was going to pray and talk to Creator and see if this is what she should do. And here we are. And after like this whole year, I've just had a chance to get to know Okie, Linda, as not only a friend, but like a family member. And I appreciate everything that you've brought into my life. And I love that we went full circle with this.
Don't make me cry.
I just want to let people know that, Creator, the universe, there's amazing things happening if you're willing to put yourself out there.
Yeah. And actually, Tracy had told me, like there's opportunities coming for you.
Yes.
And I'm like, you know me, I have to pray about it. I have to make sure Creator, this is from Creator. Because sometimes we'll step in a hole and it's much deeper than we are.
Yes.
And
we were a good fit, I believe.
yeah. And I was I felt really good, and Creator said, you know, this is part of your path. This is supposed to be something you're supposed to do. So, like, I love all people. I really, really do.
Not even a pandemic stopped us.
I want to love you.
Yes.
I'm a hugger, and that's what kills my heart.
It's been hard.
Yeah, it's been hard. So I think we're going to try and sing this next song. And
looks like some people in the chats there. Do you want to, is there anything else you want to say before we go to the last song?
Just that I'm I'm very happy, and Tracy and I are engaged.
Oh,
and
yes.
I'm a little bit older than she is, a little bit, but I'm trying to keep everything I know.
You both have amazing energy, and the age doesn't matter.
She's awesome, isn't she?
Yes. Thank you so much for coming.
I love you to everybody out there that's watching. You and you and you and you and you. Oh, and the last song that we're going to sing is the love song. And I want it to go out to our ancestors and the Creator. I want it to go out to Mother Earth and the fish and the sea and the trees. I want it to go out to all the Indigenous people. Strong, Shawnee, this is for you too. I want it to go out to everything that Creator has made. And the women are strong and resilient. Need to pay attention to us women.
Yes.
Okay? And you men, you're wonderful too. I have a son that's awesome. So this is to everyone, even the four-legged and the
four-leggeds.
Four-leggeds, yeah, the bear, the puppy dogs, the kitty cat.
All of them.
Everything that Creator has made. This is for everyone. This is to the sinners that keep us going. And
I love how much love you have in your heart, and I think it's amazing to share that with everyone.
I freaking hate COVID-19. I always say, hate's a strong word. Don't use it unless you mean it. And I hate COVID-19.
I think you might have some people enjoy that with you.
So I hope y'all enjoy this. How's it going now? What you gonna leave it? Thank you.
Okie, we did have one question come through. Do you have time to answer just one question?
I'm not telling my age. Okay, I'll try.
Okay, we have someone who's very interested to know what it means to be two-spirited.
I think it's for every individual to figure that out. I think like it's a piece of the puzzle that you need to fit inside of you to figure out how your pieces are going to work. Now, for two-spirit peoples, it wasn't always about gender. It was about their responsibilities as Indigenous peoples. So some of the men didn't want to go to war, but they'd go cooking with the women, and they preferred women's company, and they weren't necessarily gay. And there would be women that loved their men, but they wanted to go out there and fight and be in war. And I think I'm in between. I don't really like war. I'm a hugger. I'm a lover. So for me, that's what it means. It means finding who you are. It does mean that I have both the gifts of understanding men and understanding women. And it does mean that I'm very versatile. But I have a sexual preference, and that is women. And I really think that being two-spirited for me is being me. I'm not really talking for everyone as two-spirit people. Everyone's got their own version, but the Indigenous peoples two-spirit peoples always been around, and they were in the nations or tribes, and they held very high places. They were counselors. Some were married couples. It was different roles and responsibilities that came upon them that they, and as a two-spirit person, we do have double responsibility sometimes, I feel, and that's my interpretation. And like I said, that is coming from me. That's my interpretation of me. I can't define someone else really. I know some of the teachings and stuff, but I think when it comes down to it, you have to find your own, who you are, why you're here. Why are you here, and who are you? And to know yourself, and we all keep learning every day. I don't care how old you are or how young you are. We will learn until we go to Sky World, and then we'll know everything.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Is there any other questions? Did anybody else pop in?
No, I think we're good.
All right.
I hope that helped the listener. I hope, you have to just take it within yourself and find who you are.
I think it's important that people understand that there is a lot of it's personal to you. So it may have a little bit of a different meaning.
Yes.
Self-discovery is a beautiful thing.
Yes. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It doesn't mean that I'm right.
Exactly.
I am fine with Creator, with who I am.
Yes. Thank you so much for this evening.
Yeah, okay.
I feel so good. I feel elated after, just experiencing.
You feel what?
Elated. I feel great.
I gotta look that up in the dictionary.
Just know that I feel fantastic. And I appreciate coming tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. It was a pleasure and an honor. Thank you, ladies, all of you ladies. It's been awesome.
And to everyone who watched tonight, please let you know that we have December 3rd, we have Saint Stone who will be coming next, and they're going to be performing music as well. So on the 3rd of December at 7 o'clock, we'll keep you tuned. Thank you so much, Okie, and everyone have a great night.
Thanks a lot, everyone from the Niagara Falls History Museum. Loved all the love on the Zoom chat. Oh my goodness, Okie, the world loves you, by the way.
The world loves Okie.
There's just so much love right now going on Zoom. It's amazing.
Hey, I'm famous. I'm just not rich.
Thank you also, Christine. You did so much work. Thank you so much. Keeping us running.
Awesome. All right. So from the Niagara Falls History Museum, thank you, everyone. Thank you to Sabrina and Wanda, the Strongwater woman, Okie. Yeah. All right. And have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.